All right, so last class, I was able to introduce you to Write and Improve, okay, which is one of the applications that's actually by Cambridge, and it's usually used to give you feedback about your writing samples, okay? We're already very much familiar with what the writing entails, okay? Um, in the first part, which you know that for the writing part, for the writing section, we have two parts, right? One that is about the essay, which I think we've already practiced enough. And then, of course, there is the part two, which is the one that you have options, okay? So that is probably something that we need to touch on, especially the different kind of structure for articles, reviews, or reports, because those are going to have different kind of structures, and it's important for us to know how to write those, yeah? Because of course they're going to be differently structured depending on what it is. So let me show you something really fast so you can take a look at the examples. All right, let me show you what a part two from writing exam for B2 looks like. Okay, so I know that I've said it before that we have two kinds of tests. We have the B2 first and B2 first for schools. Okay, the one that is called B2 first for schools are usually used for students that are younger, students that are probably in high schools or maybe middle schools, something like that. And they, of course, are younger, no? In order to be more, to have more appealing kind of topics for them, they have different topics, they have different kind of questions, they have different kind of contexts in which they develop the questions for the exam. So they changed a little bit, and in terms of writing, it changes the most because one of the options that they are given in the writing part two, it's actually writing a story. Yeah, and that is something that they do for the B1 test, but they keep it for the B2 first for schools. So that might be something that appears in that kind of exam, but definitely it's not something that's going to appear in B2 first. Yeah, because B2 first is more for adult learners, okay, more independent students. So those are going to be given these type of examples, or I mean, these type of options for the second part of writing. And here I can show you. Okay, this will be like what a part two of a Cambridge exam will look like. Okay, and then in here you will have to, of course, choose from one of these options. It says write an answer to one of the questions 2 to 4 in this part. And of course, there's the part two is going to be the same thing as the essay in part one, which is 140 to 190 words, the exact same amount of words, so that does not change. Okay, and you can choose from a review.
Grace, could you put it bigger, please?
Yes, let me make it bigger for you. Yeah.
Thank
Right there. So in here we have an option of choosing from a book review, and it says, you see this announcement in your college English language magazine. So if it's going to be in a magazine, you already know that it's not going to be completely formal because it's not going to be appealing to write a very formal piece of writing in a magazine. Yeah. Then it's probably going to be something more informal. Yeah. So in this case, a book review usually is more informal than a lab. And this is something that I actually kind of hinted when we did the activity, when we did the mock test at SPOL. So book reviews wanted. Have you read a book in which the main character behaved in a surprising way? Write us a review of the book, explaining what the main character did and why it was surprising. Tell us whether or not you would recommend this book to other people. The best reviews will be published in a magazine. Okay, one thing that we really need to keep in mind that can we make up information? Yes. Cambridge is not gonna care if you are like saying, "Oh, I read Perico Los Palotes book," and they're not gonna figure out if the Perico Los Palotes actually does exist, and that's not something that they will mind or they will care for. The point is that can you write a review? Can you write it up to the standards of a B2 level kind of student? Eh, did you use the correct register? Did you use a competent language? Did you reach the the task? Okay. Did you fully answer the questions? Yeah. So don't be afraid to just make up information in these cases. Like chances are that you have never in your life done something like this, or never in your life have you read something about that topic. But maybe you are better at writing reviews than writing articles or writing any other option. So go for it. Go for reviews if that's something that you feel strong about. Yes, so that's something that I really wanted to let you know. Yeah. So in order for you to have more of a broad option of writing, it's good to know and feel comfortable with the structure of all the type of writings. So that way you can choose a topic that you feel more comfortable with. But in the case that it's not that way and that you only prepare for reviews, for example, and the review is your forte, well, in that case, make up whatever information you need and you write your review if that's what you know will work. Yeah. So that is one thing, for example. Okay, so we are going to look at how to write a review in this case. Then we have another option with an article. The article in this case is going to be related to, it says, you see this announcement on an English language website. Okay, English language website, it's probably going to be a little bit more formal, but still something that's not going to be like academic, all of it, especially because you want to be appealing. Yes, if it is an announcement, you want to be able to relate to that person or so on. So in this case, the article says the most useful thing I have ever learned. What is the most useful thing you have ever learned? What did you learn? Who did you learn it from? Why is it useful? Write us an article answering these questions. We will publish the best articles on our website. Yeah. So again, you will need to know the structure of an article and you need to make sure that you're using the correct register. They are very big in register. Like if you're not using the register that's correct for that kind of topic, for that kind of audience, it's not something that they're going to let it slip by. Like you have to hit the register right on in order to get a good mark in this area. Yeah. You have received this email from your English speaking friend, David. Actually, emails are most likely not going to be in a B2 first. This is more so for a B1 and also for a B2 first for schools. But it could happen that they give you an email. They usually write a report better. But in this one, I see that it is an email. Yeah. But an email, for some reason, if it is, you have to see who the email is for, yeah, in order to know if it is formal or not. In this case, you have received an email from your English-speaking friend, David. So
It's
it's a friend.
informal. But
Exactly.
if you have to write an email for your boss, for example,
Or a teacher or somebody,
it should be formal.
correct, correct. So in that case, it is important that you're able to identify the audience, yes, and to, of course, write accordingly, because that's going to like have a lot of weight, yeah. And also we're going to look into the rubric of writing so that you are more knowledgeable about what are the areas that you're going to be tested when you write, yeah. And of course, write and improve, the application that I showed you yesterday. It's pretty good, but it's still something that is that could be uh, manipulated in some way. So we cannot rely 100% on write and improve, but definitely is a good guidance. Definitely is a good guidance, yeah. So let me show you. I want us to go back into the structure of an article and the structure of a review, the structure of a report. And I want us to go here. Okay, and here it is. P2 first writing. Hold on, here we go. Review, 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 review. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, here we go. Let me share with you this link. And we have in this same website, you can find more information about how to write the other parts of the exam. So let me show you. Boy, let me see. I don't know what is here. There we go. Okay. Okay. So here it is. I shared with you the link also, so you could go on your own. But here it is what I wanted to show you. Okay. So in here we have the review structure. It tells you like our writing guide. It has model answers. You can see kind of like an example of what is expected. Yes. And then we can go on to the other ones. Okay. So here we go. Reviews in B2 first FCE exam are written for a website, a magazine, or a newspaper. So you always have to do two things. You have to describe and you also have to discuss something, for example, a film, a book, a restaurant, wherever you want, they want you to do a review of. Yeah. An experience or whatever the task might require you to talk about. Also, you have to make a recommendation at the end of your text. So here, you have to describe and you have to discuss. You have to describe. So that means when you're describing, you have to use a lot of what? What kind of words?
What kind of words? Adjectives.
Adjectives, correct. And adjectives are just words, but we can always get fancier with some adjectives or some describing words. Some words that are going to get are going to sound or make you sound very eloquent when it comes to describing words or adjectives are double word adjectives. For example, organization oriented. I am very organization oriented. This food was mouth watering. Okay, it's like, yeah, I mean, I hear it, I know the meaning, but it's not something that I'm going to use just in like a normal conversation. And of course, it's something that we've heard before, but we are not going to write like that, right? And it's kind of weird. Maybe, or maybe we haven't seen that one. I mean, I don't know. For example, and let me write them for you. These are usually used with a hyphen, como una rayita. No sé si has visto esta palabra, mira, organization oriented. Así. Or podría ser, por ejemplo, lo que dije ahorita, oh, that was a mouth-watering experience. Eating chocolate at this restaurant was a mouth-watering experience.
Eso no lo he escuchado. I don't know what it is. Mouth watering.
Because it's a very descriptive, very vivid way of describing something. Yeah. And it
Mouth
usually,
watering.
yes, mouth watering. Mouth watering significa como que se me hace agüita la boca, como lo decimos en español. Algo que se me hace agüita la boca. Uy, pero entonces, si es algo que es mouth watering, obviamente es algo súper delicioso, ¿verdad? Súper delicioso. Estoy hablando de algo que es extremadamente rico, ¿ya? De sabor. Extremely tasty. Bueno, entonces estos son los tipos de palabras que nos van a dar como que un poquito más de mérito en cuanto al use of language, ¿ya? Y luego vamos a hablar acerca de los temas que Cambridge te califica, pues, ¿no? Y esta parte del uso de palabras va a ser la parte del language, ¿ya? So, ok, hasta ahí nos quedamos. A ver, vamos a seguirle. So, and here is when we go to register. Bueno, ¿cómo podemos escribir? ¿Qué es lo que sí, qué es lo que no puedo usar? Here we go. Unlike an essay, a review should be written in an informal or neutral register. ¿Qué significa esto? A ver, informal or neutral register significa que podemos usar phrasal verbs, podemos usar idioms, podemos usar contractions y puedes ser muy creativo en la estructura o le puedes agregar tu estilo propio a la forma en cómo tú escribas, ¿ya? Entonces, eso lo deja pues muy abierto para que tú puedas escribir como tú quieras, como tú desees, ¿ya? Pero muchas veces nos pasa que cuando nos dejan así, como que, ay, escribe como tú desees, así como que, uy, la variedad, como que ahí está la cancha abierta, como que no te decides a qué escribir o cómo escribir, ¿ya? So it is something that you will have to, define what is it that you want to use. También van a haber ocasiones, Andrés, en las que como que tú dices, ok, es que yo quiero usar phrasal verbs, pero tal vez este phrasal verb es como que muy, muy, muy formal. ¿Sí ves? Entonces es como que, o de pronto como que no encaja del todo. Si no estamos como que muy conocedores de algún phrasal verb y no estás seguro de que lo vayas a poder utilizar apropiadamente en una estructura de una oración, es mejor ni siquiera usar. Porque chances are, nos lanzamos a usar un phrasal verb, lo usamos de mala manera y más allá de que no nos, de que nos quiera ayudar, más bien nos va a mermar puntos. Porque estamos expresando algo que no estamos usando bien, ¿ya? Entonces es algo que hay que más o menos ver qué es lo que nos conviene más, ¿ya? Ok, ¿cómo vamos a hacer la estructura de un review? ¿Ok? Y esto es lo que esta página nos sugiere, ¿no? Lo que esta página nos sugiere es el title. Esto es algo que un review sí o sí debe tener, ¿ya? Entonces, esto es algo diferente de pronto, ¿no? Que de pronto un essay, porque el essay no necesariamente tiene que tener un title, ¿verdad? En este caso, use the name of the film, book, or the restaurant, ¿ya? Entonces necesitamos un title, luego necesitamos una introduction, en
Just
la
the
cual
name.
yeah, it could be a different title. Like, acuérdate que you can be creative. So for example, if I am talking about a restaurant in which they make chocolate, their own chocolate, like I was talking about the mouth-watering, you can say a mouth-watering experience. And that can be your title, ¿no? De tu review. Puede ser. O puede ser que no sé, que te inventes algo más.
Great restaurant, for example.
Sí, no sé, o sea, ya tú puedes ser muy creativo con el título, eso es irrelevante realmente. Pero pues aquí dice, ok, use a name the film, a book, a restaurant, it could be. Pero pues yo siempre considero que en el tema de un review, sí es como que tienes mucho room for creative things. So I would seriously suggest to use something more creative, honestly, in my opinion. Yeah, in here, that's what I'm saying. Like this is what the website considers it could be possible. I would suggest to use something more creative. That's my idea. Yeah. But in here it says that. Okay. Then we're going to do an introduction. In the introduction, we're going to identify what you are reviewing. You're going to state what is it that you're reviewing. You're reviewing actors. You're reviewing a a movie, a book, a restaurant. What is it that you're doing? Yeah. And then you need to try to catch the reader's attention. Maybe you can do a narrative question. A narrative question is, for example, have you ever tasted the best chocolate in the world while having breakfast in a lake? Well, that's exactly the kind of experience that I'm about to tell you here in this review. In the restaurant, blah, 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 you're able to eat the chocolate of your dreams while having the best breakfast and floating on a lake. Se me ocurre. And then what I started with was a question, a narrative question, or what they call a, ¿cómo le llaman este tipo de pregunta? They call it, well, in here they call narrative question, but it has another name also. It has, no se me viene ahorita el nombre, pero es una pregunta
Retórica,
que,
¿no?
exactly, rhetorical question. That's it, rhetorical question. So you can have this rhetorical question in order to get the readers interested and engaged with the topic. Yeah. In the first body paragraph, you're going to describe the book. So you remember that you have to describe and then you also have to discuss. No? So you're going to describe, and then in the second paragraph, you're going to comment on the questions that you have asked. So in the second paragraph, you are going to discuss. Yes, you're going to describe, and then you're going to discuss maybe you're going to discuss what are the best things that you saw, maybe what things could be better. You're going to discuss. And then finally, in the conclusion, you're going to summarize your review with a recommendation. Yeah, so that's the structure of a review. Yeah, so that is something that we're able to identify. Now let's see an example. Yeah, look, in this indent here we have write and improve. Okay, for example, he says, you see this announcement in your college English language magazine. Book reviews wanted. Have you read a book in which the main character behaved in a surprising way? Write us a review of the book explaining what the main character did and why it was surprising. Tell us whether or not you would recommend this book to other people. The best reviews will be published in the magazine. Entonces aquí está. Step 1, briefly analyze the given topic. The first thing that you need to do is underline a description part. Remember, you're going to describe and you're going to discuss. In other words, just find what needs to be described. Secondly, find a discussion part. In other words, try to find the specific points you need to comment in your text. ¿Por qué es esto importante? Acuérdese que es una parte de los 5 temas del writing, es content. Y content se basa exactamente si respondiste fully the questions. ¿Ya? La idea es, obviamente, enfocarnos en realmente responder lo que nos preguntan. ¿Qué tal si medio leemos nomás y ya nos fuimos? Nos fuimos como lo que nosotros dijimos que habíamos entendido. Pero de pronto nos pasa que no nos enfocamos en lo que realmente nos preguntaron. Y ahí perdemos puntaje de una manera súper que innecesaria, ¿ya? Entonces es importante responder lo que nos preguntan, porque de pronto nos enfocamos en otra área o en otro aspecto de lo que nos piden y entonces it defeats the whole purpose, ¿ya? So it's really important that we are reading the question and that we're actually focusing and identifying what exactly it is that they're asking us to do, ¿ya? So that we do it. Yes? Suena súper simple y súper básico, pero muchos candidatos, esta es la parte en la que más pierden puntaje, porque pasan por alto lo que tienen que hacer, o se olvidaron de algún aspecto de la pregunta y no lo respondieron completamente, ¿ya? Entonces, por eso es que hago mucho énfasis en esta parte, porque muchos candidatos pierden puntaje aquí, ¿ya? Es una manera como que muy básica de perder el puntaje, ¿no? Pierdo el puntaje, Dios mío, no sé, porque escribí mal algo, porque estructuré mal algo, ¿no? Pero en este caso de responder lo que me preguntan, pero yo creo que es una manera muy fácil de simplemente como que quedarme en lo que me piden y nada más, ¿ya? Entonces, eso es importante. Entonces, finalmente, find the target reader so you know exactly who you're writing for and who is going to read your review. ¿Por qué es esto? Porque así te puedes acercar mucho más al contexto o a tu audience y así también te mantienes en el register correcto, ¿ya? Entonces, es importante tener esas cosas en mente, ¿ya? Entonces, vamos a ver.
Yeah, sorry, Grace, I don't understand that last point. How can
Ya.
how can I know the target who is reading the article,
De
my
audience,
review is.
porque en el punto cuando te dicen este review es para se va a publicar en esta revista de no sé qué, no sé cuánto. ¿Sí ves? En la parte de la actividad, mira, te voy a volver a enfocar el que hicimos hace un ratito. El documento que vimos hace un ratito, déjame te lo paso, este no, déjame ver. A ver, déjame, stop sharing. Déjame te comparto nuevamente el documento que vimos hace un ratito, en el que veíamos un ejemplo. Ok, here we go. Mira, en la parte que dice la instrucción, ¿verdad? Aquí siempre te va a decir quién es tu audiencia, o sea, a quién va dirigido lo que tú escribas. ¿Ah? Entonces, mira, aquí dice, you see this announcement in your college English language magazine. ¿Sí? Entonces, sabes que los lectores van a ser college students. ¿Sí ves? Acá el announcement dice on an English language website. Entonces, sabes que van a ser para unos English language, estás hablando de unos estudiantes, ¿no? Acá para el email, pues también te dice English speaking friend. Entonces, ¿sabes? Te dicen quién es tu audience, siempre te van a decir, ¿ya? En la pregunta, siempre te van a decir a quién va dirigido o quiénes son las personas que van posiblemente a leer tu escrito. Entonces, de esta manera tú te puedes acercar mucho a este tipo de lector y pues obviamente enfocarte en el usar el register apropiado, ¿ya? Entonces, teniendo esto en cuenta, regresamos acá. Entonces, aquí vamos. Ya, te vuelvo a compartir. Seguimos acá. Dice, okay, so you see this announcement in your college English language magazine. Dice our readers. Entonces, ahí te están diciendo quiénes son tus lectores. Justo lo que acabamos de ver ahorita, ¿no? Dice, book reviews wanted. Dice, have you read a book in which the main character behaved in a surprising way? Esto es justamente lo que tenemos que describir. ¿Ya? Tenemos que describir cómo este libro habla de un main character que se comporta en una manera sorprendente. Entonces, tenemos que describir cómo este main character en este libro se comporta de una manera sorprendente. Eso es lo que hay que describir, ¿ya? Luego dice, writers a review of the book explaining what the main character did and why it was surprising. Entonces, now we need to comment, okay, or discuss, okay, what the main character did y luego why it was surprising. ¿Ya? Entonces, eso es lo que tenemos que hacer. Primero, identificar estas tres cosas, ¿no? Our audience, what I need to describe, and what I need to discuss or comment. Yes? For a review. Because if we talk about, again, the structure, remember that first we need a title. Then we need an introduction. Yes? Then we need the first body paragraph in which you're going to describe. Then you're going to discuss or comment in the second paragraph. And then you're going to make your recommendation in the conclusion. Yeah? So that's basically what you have to do in a review, in the case of a review. Yeah? So going on with this, now that you have all three elements, we need to write a great review. How can we do that? Okay, you need to describe book in which main character behaved in a surprising way. You need to answer and discuss what did the main character do and why it was surprising. So, ¿cómo podría ser? Who's the target reader? Ya sabemos que son College English Language Magazine. We now know that the target readers are students, teachers, and probably parents. So the writing style should be neutral or informal. We don't need to be too formal because after all, some of the readers are students. But we also don't want to be too informal either, as some of the readers are teachers and parents. Now we can start building our structure and writing a review. ¿Cómo haremos esto? Aquí está, step 2. Entonces, primero, we identify the three things. The audience, what we need to describe and what we need to discuss. In step number 2, we're going to talk about the title. The review should start with the title. And are there a few simple ways to write it? Yeah, these are simple ways. Like I said earlier, I prefer you to be creative. Yeah, but it says, imagine if you're reviewing a book, you can write a title and the book. That's a way, a very generic way to do it. Yeah. If you were reviewing a restaurant, maybe you could write the name of the restaurant. Review. Very simple, okay? But again, you could just keep it more creative. What you really need to do is that the title cannot be very long either, because if it's too long, then it's boring and then people don't want to read it. Yeah, so that's something that we need to keep in mind. So nothing prevents you from writing something more unique, but it has to point to what you're going to review. So definitely it has to stand that you are reviewing something. In the introduction, you need to identify the thing that you're going to review. You need to provide the details. And you need to, of course, engage your reader. That's like the most important thing that you need to do. Engage your reader. Yeah. Keep your readers' attention so that you can actually get them to read your review. Yeah. Your introduction cannot be too long. No es como que un essay que, bueno, you have to make it all pretty, and the introduction is usually very long. No. In the introduction, you have 2 sentences. Yeah, that's it. Done. For example, what would you do if you could travel back in time? Most people would probably meet their great-great-grandparents and watch how the amazing pyramids of Giza were built, but Tom Lee, the main character of the novel, Time Machine by Adam Smith, finds himself in a completely unexpected situation, and he has to make a very difficult situation that will change history as we know it. Y ahí ya tenemos la introduction. In the introduction, you're engaging your reader with the rhetorical question that you started. Yeah? So that's something that we need to pay attention to. For example, here, you're using a rhetorical question to begin your introduction, and then you're adding details about the book and the main character with the other color, the kind of lavender color here. Yeah. Now, how can you write your main content, your body paragraphs? Here we have an example. Remember that you need to describe and discuss. Yeah, here you already described. Now we need to discuss. Remember, you can use idioms, phrasal verbs by remaining neutral and informal language. So, Tom, a teacher in a little town in Rotherham, finds a mysterious time portal in the back of a rag dinner, which takes him back to the year 1935. He soon realizes that every time he goes through the portal, he gets to the exact same point in the past. Eventually, he makes the unexpected decision to stop Michael James Newton from brutally killing President John F. Kennedy on the 22nd of November 1963. Was it surprising? It seems to me that Tom could choose many other and more personal things to do, but he decides to try and change history to a degree that he cannot predict. In my opinion, that came definitely unexpected, and if I were in his position, I probably wouldn't even consider a task this far-reaching. Estos son los describing words que yo te estaba hablando hace un ratito. Far-reaching. Siempre podemos como que hacer estas palabras, ¿sí? Utilizando hyphen. Este hyphen es como una rayita, como ves, así, ¿no? Entonces significa que si es far-reaching, significa it's something that reaches far. ¿Ya? And you can usually use an adjective, rayita, a verb with ing. For example, mouth watering, something that waters your mouth. You see? So, a time predicting activity. It's an activity that predicts time. Se me ocurre.
What is the meaning of far-reaching?
Something that reaches far. In this case, I probably wouldn't even consider a task that this far-reaching, a task that reaches this far. In this case, they're talking about the fact that the person went up and changed history. Because it changed that President Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, was not killed.
Algo así como inalcanzable.
Far-reaching, algo que sí, algo que no inalcanzable. Es algo como que conlleva mucho, porque dice que far-reaching, como que alcanza mucho más. Porque, a ver, John F. Kennedy no era cualquier presidente, ¿verdad? Sabemos que era uno de los demócratas, si no me equivoco, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Que más populares de todos los tiempos. Y entonces hasta van haciendo muchos cambios, políticamente hablando, ¿no? Entonces, obviamente, la muerte de este señor truncó muchos proyectos que ellos tenían en mente, la verdad, y obviamente pues cambió completamente la historia de Estados Unidos en este tiempo y la de muchos otros países. Imagínate que hubiese pasado. A eso se refiere con que el alcance. ¿Qué hubiese pasado si John F. Kennedy no hubiese fallecido? Todas las cosas que se hubieran dado de pronto, ¿no? Porque el tipo viene de una...
No, yo te entiendo, pero ¿cuál es el significado?
A eso me refiero, del gran alcance.
De gran alcance, así
Claro, de gran alcance.
traducir.
Sí, tal cual, claro, de gran alcance, porque imagínate la magnitud de lo que podría haber alcanzado, ¿no? En este caso, ya. Entonces, y bueno, no son palabras así como que muy rebuscadas, realmente no lo son. Es como que, si te das cuenta, alteran el orden de la palabra, siempre ponen como que un adjective primero, el hyphen, y luego usualmente es un verbo con ing. Far reaching. Mouth water. Risk taking. Something like that. ¿Ya? Entonces, estas palabras así son las que realmente van a hacer como que stand out. ¿Ya? Entonces, eso. A ver. Entonces dice relevant details about the main character in the book. Entonces, aquí, you need to make sure that you are including not only your own opinion, but you're describing, also using interesting vocabulary. Mira que lo he puesto como interesting vocabulary, ¿sí ves? Y aparte, they're using relevant details about the main character in the book. Yeah. Luego seguimos. Dice, don't waste your time looking for a real book to match your review. Invent one. Eso es lo que te dije hace un ratito, ¿no? ¿Qué importa? You can make up your own stuff. It doesn't have to be real, and Cambridge is not going to care. They're not going to figure out or do research and to see if it actually exists. Yeah, you can make it up. It doesn't really matter. So instead of taking a TV series you like, take a film or you like or transform them into books. That's simple. Yeah, that's an idea. Y luego vienen las recommendations or conclusions, which is the last paragraph, no? In here, for example, you need to include a recommendation and the final sentence to round off the review. For example, I definitely recommend Time Machine to everyone who has already read some of Adam Smith's novels, as well as those who like stories with twists and turns around every corner, plus you get some modern history on top of that. For me, it was absolutely worth reading, and I am sure you won't be disappointed. So aquí estoy dando mi recomendación, ¿verdad? De que lo deberían de leer, el por qué deberían de leer este libro. Y luego estoy diciendo, de mi opinión, ¿no? Como que en general de mi review. Y eso es todo. Entonces, así es como se vería. Ay, ¿qué sé qué pasó aquí? ¿Qué le pasó aquí? Ya, aquí está el full review, mírame. Eso es lo que quería mostrarte. El full review. Ay, no puede ser. Otra vez se me fue.
What happened?
I don't know. Lo tenía ahí, no sé qué pasó. Déjame conectar la compu que se me va a morir. Imagínate que no se va a la luz y igual se me apaga la computadora, imagínate. Déjame cogerle el cargador. Dame un segundo. Sweet Lord. Almighty. I think I have left. I think I left a chart. Ah, no, here it is. I was hiding. It was playing tricks with me. The little charger. It was playing me a fool. Mm. All right. So here it is. Okay. All right. Yeah, writing guide. Okay, here we go. We're gonna look at the whole as a whole, the whole review. Yeah, and here it is, the whole review. As an example, see, it has the title of the book and the author, Time Machine by Adam Smith. And then we worked over here. What would you do if you could travel back in time? Most people would probably meet their great-great-grandparents or watch how the amazing pyramids in Giza were built by Tom Lee. The main character of the novel Time Machine by Adam Smith finds himself in a completely unexpected situation, and he has to make a very difficult decision that will change history as we know. Tom, a teacher in a little town in Rotherham, finds a mysterious time portal in the back of a rag dinner, which takes him back to the year 1935. He soon realizes that every time he goes through the portal, he gets to the exact same point in the past. Eventually, he makes the unexpected decision to stop Michael James Newton from brutally killing President John F. Kennedy on the 22nd of November, 1960. It seems to me that Tom could use, oops, me bajé mucho, could choose many other and more personal things to do, but he decided to try to and change history to a degree that he cannot predict. In my opinion, that came definitely unexpected, and if I were in his position, I probably wouldn't even consider a task this far-reaching. I definitely recommend Time Machine to everyone who has already read some of Adam Smith's novels, as well as those who like stories with twists and turns around every corner. Plus, you get some modern history on top of that. For me, it was absolutely worth reading, and I'm sure you won't be disappointed. Yeah. So that it would be an example of a review. Yeah. So how can you check a review? You can definitely use Write and Improve. Can definitely do that. And look, here we can check another answer of a review. Let's see if this is something that you will give a good grade for. Look, for example, this is an example. Can you read the topic, please?
Okay. You have seen this notice in your school library. Reviews needed. We want to buy some new books for the library. Have you need a good book in English? Sorry. Have you read a good book in English recently? Write us a review of a book you enjoyed, explaining why you liked it, and why you think it would be a good choice for the school library. We will use your reviews to help us decide which books to buy.
Okay, so let's see how this model answer looks. Okay, first it is important that we know what are they asking us to do? They're asking us to do a review about what?
About books.
Okay, a really good book in English that we read recently, no? Yeah. What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to write a review explaining why you liked it and why you think it would be a good choice for the school library. Yeah, so here we have a model answer. You go ahead and read it.
Okay. The Thieves of Ostia. The Thieves of Ostia by Caroline Lawrence is the first in a series of books entitled The Roman Mysteries. And I think it is an absolute must for the school library. Absolute must is like it's mandatory.
Yes, like it's a must. Es como decir debería. Sí, es un sí o sí.
Okay. The book is set in the Roman port of Ostia nearly 2000 years ago. It tells the story of Flavia and her three friends and their attempt to discover who has been killing the dogs of Ostia and why. It's full of mystery and excitement, and the plot has many twists and turns. Twists and turns also is like a twist plus, no, in the movie.
Like a plot twist. Plot
Plot
twist.
twist, sorry.
Yes.
Okay, which makes you want to keep reading. The book is aimed at 10 to 12-year-old native English speakers, but it is very popular with older children and would be ideal, yeah, ideal for teenagers studying English. What's more, it gives a fascinating insight into life in Roman times, so readers learn about history as well as improve their language skills.
Okay. Okay, continue after finishing.
After finishing The Thieves of Ostia, students will want to borrow further books from the series. By buying it, then the library would be doing a lot to encourage students to read more in English.
Okay. What do you think about this review? What would you give it?
Okay, first, the author is describing the book,
Yeah.
is giving kind of summary about no summary about, I mean, a summary about the topic, about the theme
Yeah.
of the book, the género, or how is
The genre. The genre.
genre,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Genre.
genre, and um, she says that is she or she, I don't remember who is the author.
Caroline Lawrence.
No, Karen, okay, no, but the order of the article, of the
Ah,
review.
no, no, I don't know. It doesn't really say.
So he or she,
Uh-huh.
so
He or she.
he or she thinks that it is, it has a lot of mystery, excitement, and it has plot twist and turns, and also he or she is recommending the book for some kind of range of years of children from 10 to 12 years, and or students, teenagers that are um, learning English as a second language.
Okay. Very good. Now, what do you think about the language that the person is using in this review?
Um, I think it's simple. It's not too formal. It's easy to understand.
Yeah. What about punctuation? Are they using correct punctuation in this text?
It's using contractions. It's full. For example, it said it's full of mystery. It's not. It is informal. No?
What do you mean?
Uh, when she said the in the second paragraph, for example, it says it's full of mystery and excitement.
Ah, yeah. It has two double like quotation marks instead
But
of.
it's a construction. It's not formal. It
Mm,
is. It has full of mystery. No?
right. I mean, it could be you remember that for a review you could write contractions. That's no problem. You could use contractions. It's not a big deal. The point here is that it's not using an apostrophe. They're using quotation marks, and that's not the correct punctuation. Mhm.
Yes.
That's probably it. Um, and I actually don't think it has the correct punctuation at the end either. It doesn't have a period. I think
In the last paragraph, use two commas.
for example, it could have by buying it, then the library. No, ahí sí está bien, realmente.
No, after finishing, comma. It's like comma or apostrophe, quotation marks.
Yeah, the quotation marks it's not correct. I think they were supposed to be you put up there. And it's not used again, it's not using the correct contractions. The correct punctuation, I'm sorry. Yes, uh-huh. It should be up, no? No deberían estar abajo, deberían estar arribita. Ajá. Entonces creo que, ajá, yo creo que es error ahí. Ok, so, in order for us to write the way we're supposed to write, okay, it is important that we understand how they test writing, yeah? And for this, I want you to know how it is that we check when it comes down to writing. So here, and here I'm gonna show you what the B2 first Cambridge writing rubric looks like. And here, so that you fully understand how Cambridge is going to test your writing. Yeah. Your writing is going to go, of course, first, it is very important that you understand that the people that are going to be reading your writings are people that are going to be trained for that. Yeah. People that read it, they're usually having a lot of training sessions in order to grade appropriately. Yeah. So how does it look like? This is the key terminology. We already know this. Okay, here. This is the assessment. Look, in general, okay, a person at a B2 level is, remember that the B2 level kind of a student, it's an independent student, yeah? The points in the Cambridge exam that are going to be tested is this.
Sorry, how independent student?
That you're able to write independently, that you're able to understand independently, that's the B2 level. Is an intermediate, a high intermediate kind of student with a B2 level.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't need you don't need that much help at a B2 level. A ver, ¿qué es lo que Cambridge observa? Son las 4 áreas de content, communicative achievement, organization y language. Ahora, ¿a qué me refiero con estas áreas de content? Ok, es lo que les hace un ratito, ¿no? Con estos descriptors, con content, nos referimos a que el candidate is answering the task. You're actually answering what they're asking you to do. You have done what they asked you to do. Yeah. If the candidate did not include everything they asked to do, they have written something irrelevant, then of course they're going to get marked wrong. Okay? Now, the writing is appropriate for the task. For the communicative achievement, it is important that the writing is appropriate for the task. That means the correct register, the correct style is appropriate for that communicative context. Yeah, for example, si acaso no está de acuerdo al register, está muy formal, ¿ok? O utilizan, por ejemplo, love como para despedirse de un correo o para un article, that's like not appropriate. So in that case, ahí es donde le marcan pues wrong. Aquí déjame hacerlo un poquito más grande para que lo puedas observar de mejor manera, ¿ya? Aquí está. Mira. ¿Ya? Upsi. Listo, aquí estamos. A ver. Entonces, uy, ¿qué pasó acá? Yo no sé qué se hizo.
Está gris. Gray.
Yo no sé qué le pasó a esto, por Dios. Ay, Dios mío. así más clarito, yo no entiendo. Stop share.
Es como si lo hubiera seleccionado.
Sí, yo no sé qué pasó, sinceramente. Bueno, vamos nuevamente. ¿Cómo que me está sacando la lengua? I don't wanna be your friend. Qué risa. A ver. Aquí estamos. Aquí está. Ok, entonces, un poquito menos para que nos entre. Eso. Ya. Entonces, the content, pues yes, we need to make sure that we completely answer what they're asking us to do. ¿Ya? Achievement, communicative achievement, nos referimos al register, que utilicemos el correct register, the who is it directed to, that we're using the correct, like formal, informal, contractions, no contraction, depending if it is formal or not, depending on the audience, no? The organization, the writing is put together well, it is logical and ordered. ¿Te acuerdas que habíamos hablado al respecto antes, Andrés? Habíamos hablado de que, bueno, ¿cómo hacemos el essay? Si lo hacemos así, si lo hacemos así. Bueno, te dije, bueno, tranquilo que eso es cuestión de estilo, ¿verdad? Al fin y al cabo, la organización, con que sea organizado de alguna manera, sea una manera u la otra, es irrelevante, porque eso es lo que decía, ¿no? Una cuestión de estilo. Pero mientras esté organizado y no tenga como que, no confunda al lector, no hay problema, ¿ya? Entonces ahí no va a interferir en nada en cuanto a la organización se refiere, ¿ya? Mientras esté organizado, mientras se entiende, no problem. It's going to be fine with organization, ¿ya? ¿Cuándo se vuelve un problema? Cuando dice acá, it is difficult for the reader to follow. Ahí se vuelve un problema, ¿ya? If it uses elements of organization which are not appropriate for the genre. For example, le ponemos un discussion topic cuando es un essay, por ejemplo. Le ponemos subtitles a algo que es un essay y no necesita subheadings, por ejemplo. ¿Ya? Entonces, eso. Like beginning an email with a title or starting every sentence in an article or a new line instead of using paragraphs. ¿Ya? Eso puede ser. Entonces, es una organización que no se atañe a la estructura de lo que estás escribiendo. ¿Ya? Solo ahí es cuando se va a ver detectado algo de temas de organización. En cuanto al language, vas a obtener buena nota si dice que estás usando un good range of vocabulary and grammar. They are used accurately. O sea, no solamente hay que usarlos, sino que usarlos de manera correcta. Entonces hay que tener mucho cuidado con el vocabulario que estemos utilizando. ¿Cuándo se vuelve un problema? If there are mistakes that could make the text difficult or confusing for the reader. Some mistakes are unproblematic. Whether the reader is still able to understand the text is considered. ¿Ya? Entonces, si aunque hay errores de language y todavía se entiende, bueno, le van a marcar unos cuantos puntos, pero no necesariamente vas a perder todos los puntos de language, ¿ya? Entonces, todo esto va a depender de lo que usted haya escrito, ¿ya? Pero en estos temas. Content, Communicative Achievement, Organization y Language. Entonces, vamos a hacer un ejercicio en el que tú vas a calificar. Tú vas a calificar, de acuerdo a lo que dice Cambridge, ¿ya? Cada uno de los writings, tanto el de Part 1 como el de Part 2, tienen 20 possible marks. ¿Ya? Entonces, 20 en Part 1, 20 en Part 2, ¿serían total cuántas? ¿Cuántas marks? Entre la
40.
Part 1 y Part 2, 4. Correcto. Entonces, significa que para cada uno de los writings tú le vas a poner 5 puntos por cada área. 5 de content, 5 de communicative achievement, 5 de organization y 5 de language. Obviamente vas a poner lo que corresponda, lo que tú necesites, de acuerdo a lo que tú vayas viendo, ¿ya? Entonces, la idea es de que tú pongas Del 1 al 5 en las diferentes hours. Entonces, mira, algo así. Déjenme ver. Na, 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 na. Bueno, este de aquí no. Vamos a hacer. Ah, mira, ve, how to assess writing for these two first for schools. No, esta no. Sigamos, sigamos. Este es first for schools. Aquí como. No. Part 2 stories. Sample task with comments. Ya, mira, por ejemplo aquí, esto me gusta, porque tú puedes ver un ejemplo y cómo lo ha calificado Cambridge. Mira, lo ves un poquito más grande ya, para que lo podamos leer fácilmente. Ah, mira, esto es un task one. Lo voy a leer yo y luego tú puedes leer cómo lo calificaron, ¿ya? Esto es un essay, obviamente, porque es part one, ¿ya? Dice, there are more reasons to learn a foreign language than to pass a test. Everything around us revolves around languages. It is the most important thing in our lives. Society would just not function without it. They are, okay, so it is our future, and I would personally love to learn as many as I possibly can. Not everything in life is done because it is necessary. Learning a new language can be a lot of fun. Maybe people only do it as a hobby, or their knowledge is something that brings them pride and pleasure. Secondly, we have people who do it simply to challenge themselves. Truly, I believe that having a great outcome that stems from your hard work and dedication to learn something new is a wonderful way to challenge or to prove your ability to yourself and others. Then there is traveling. It is very important to be able to understand and have a conversation with someone abroad, unless you would like to get lost or worse. To conclude, I think that learning a new language is an amazing thing, no matter why you do it. It's always better to do things out of enjoyment. But even if you do it for a test, that knowledge will always be useful. Mira cómo califica Cambridge a esta persona. En content le pone 5. ¿Puedes leer, por favor, lo que dice en los comments? En content.
Yes. All the content is relevant to the task. The candidate has discussed pleasure, personal challenge, and travel as different motivations for learning a language. So the target reader is fully informed. It's fully
Okay, so
informed.
as long as everything that you have written is concerning the topic that they asked you, you're going to get 5 in content, no matter what. Yeah. Now in communicative achievement, they also got a 5. That's great. What is that? What does that entail? Go ahead.
Okay. The conventions of the essay genre have been used effectively. Genre.
Mhm.
Genre. Have been used effectively to hold the target reader's attention. Straightforward and complex ideas have been communicated. Everything grounds, grow. I don't know what is two. We has two colors. Everything around us. Ah, okay. They are have a we should be a quotation mark, no?
I mean, everything around us. Not everything in life is done because it is necessary, unless you would like to get lost or worse. I think that learning a new language is an amazing thing, no matter why you do it. Okay, so in this case, they say that they're using straightforward and complex ideas. They're talking about the sentence structure. Yes, that they're using there. Okay, so that's why they're giving them a 5. Okay, in organization, it's kind of taking a toll in the organization, no? They gave them a 4. And they say that they gave him a 4 because the text is well organized and coherent, but they are using a variety of linking words and cohesive devices. I don't understand why they put a 4 if they say that they are using it well, but I guess it could have been better even. No? Okay, and then in language, it says that they're using a range of vocabulary, including less common lexes, is used appropriately. So it's like it's using a lot of basic language. When they are using a lot of basic language, they usually, go down. That is the reason why language and word choice is very important, porque si vemos, hay que tener una buena combinación de basic structures con high and elevated words. Por eso te decía que utilicemos algo de esas palabras que te decía con el hyphen, porque esas palabras usualmente te dan más puntaje y es una de esas tipos de cosas que te va a ayudar en language. It's going to boost your language mark to a 5, ¿ya? Entonces hay que cuidar esa partecita, ¿ya? ¿Qué te parece? Mira, aquí en language también le quitaron algunos puntajes porque they misspelled a few words. Hobby, por ejemplo, le faltaba una B, personally también le faltaba una L. Entonces, claro, no impiden comunicación porque igual se entiende, pero la idea es de que escribamos correctamente. Entonces, esas pequeñas cositas también te van a quitar puntaje, ¿ya? Por ejemplo, ahí en language. Pero igual, si tú juntas todo, esto es un 18 de 20, lo cual es muy bueno, ¿ya? Entonces, para que tú más o menos te des cuenta cómo califica Cambridge, ¿ya? So, now we know how to do a review. I think now it's a good way, it's a good time to write our own review. What are we going to do? Here.
Sorry, do all teachers have the same qualification with the same rubric? The same rubric?
I'm sorry.
Do all the teachers, evaluadores,
Yeah, the examiners, le llaman
examiners,
Ajá,
all the examiners use the same rubric?
claro. Y lo que pasa con Cambridge, la manera en cómo ellos se tratan de como de calibrarse, porque es lo que le llaman sesiones de calibración. Es como que todos se reúnen a calificar el mismo escrito, por decirte algo. Y cuando hacen estas calificaciones de Cambridge, que son, obviamente son un grupo de examiners. Entonces ellos se sientan a calificar todos los escritos. Y lo que pasa es lo siguiente, es que, por ejemplo, nos sentamos un grupo de 5 examiners. Entonces todos los 5 examinamos el mismo escrito. Y se supone que de acuerdo a cómo han sido entrenados, todos deben de estar como que entre 1 o 1.5 punto de diferencia. De pronto yo califico el writing con un 9, de pronto, por ejemplo, bueno, no 9, sería, digamos, yo lo califico con un 18, por ejemplo. Incluso ellos lo califican por banda. Si tú le has puesto en la banda 1, en la banda 2, en la banda 3, en la banda 4, en la banda 5. Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Que deben estar calibrados, deben estar cerca. Y usualmente hacen un promedio y el promedio es lo que la nota del alumno que lleva en el examen de Cambridge. Entonces, por eso es que estos exámenes cuando se van al exterior, porque van al exterior, ¿verdad? Ellos toman su tiempo, porque especialmente en la sección del writing, ellos hacen esta calibración entre más de una persona lo lee. Y luego las personas que lo leen hacen como te digo, una calibración y hacen un promedio. Y este promedio es la calificación que te ponen. Y usualmente pues está muy cerca, ¿no? Se debería de estar muy cerca porque de eso se trata. Ajá. Así funciona. Así funciona en Cambridge, o sea, en la vida real. Así es como funcionan es la parte más difícil. Te cuento que todavía no termino de leer todos los writings de las personas que tomaron los exámenes. Pero sí, definitivamente no es tan fácil, incluso siguiendo rúbricas, no es tan fácil otorgarle a una persona un 3 un 4 un 5. O sea, ¿en qué te estás basando? Tienes como que tener una media, ¿no? Y de ahí basarte. Este, entonces, sí, un poquito complicated ahí. Pero obviamente, pues yo no soy examiner, así que no esperemos que sea como que al pelo, ¿no? Lo que te pondría que Cambridge, pero de pronto muy cercano, puede ser. Así que eso. ¿Tienes alguna otra pregunta?
Sí,
Cuéntamelo.
ya va, dame un segundito, por favor.
Sí.
Eh, ajá, que te envíe algo por interno.
Ah, ya, ok. Sí, ok. Déjame ver. ¿Dónde puedo? ¿Dónde puedo? ¿Dónde puedo?